they're good people in Washington, but I'm just not going to give them my trust anymore. And I also think that we've passed so many exits that it's the people that are going to solve it. And we either going to, if the truth sets you free, then lies enslave you. And we will either stand with the truth and do the hard thing and protect each other and help each other. And while everybody is marching in the streets, left and right, yelling at each other and screaming at each other, I hope and I plan that there will be millions of Americans and also worldwide that will instead serve and love one another. I have read Eric Metaxas' book now twice on, excuse me, you can take your coat off. I've read Eric's book on Dietrich Bonhoeffer twice in the last couple of years, and Eric is here, and that was a great gift to humanity. And here's a guy who was called crazy. Nobody wanted to look at it. He tried to stop what was happening in Germany, and he didn't. And he failed because the country had gone over the cliff, and people had lost their way. I don't know if you've seen the news, but just on Black Friday, we're going off a cliff. And we have to work together to provide light, to provide goodness, to provide shelter, to provide food, most importantly, to provide hope that things will change. My daughter said to me last night, she was just accepted to go on an archaeological dig this summer. And as her security-conscious father, I said, where? I mean, I could bury stuff in the backyard in Texas. And she just, her eyes teared up, and she said, Dad, I just am afraid that it's never going to get better. And I'm tired, and I don't want to plan my future like this, and I'm afraid it won't get better. And I held her in my arms last night, and I said, I promise you, it will get better. It will. We just have to, face up to it. Nobody goes to a cancer doctor and has hope when they leave, and the doctor's like, no, you've got a cold. If you got cancer, diagnose it, let's beat it. Let's beat it. We have an opportunity to love and chart a new course. Americans have always charted the new course. They have always found the way out. The rest of the world, when they get into trouble, they always say, "Gee, America, when are you getting into the fight?" Well, we don't have to wait for the Americans. We're here. What we have to do is link arms, open our minds, because the world is on the edge of profound change. But it's good. It's okay. In the world of science, we're approaching the time of singularity, where the world will change that fast. We are now so interconnected that the old systems don't work. That's okay. Let's chart the new course. Let's find the new ways to connect with each other and change the world. When we first heard about this amazing opportunity to not cure some cancer, not, well, we can beat it a little bit more, but to cure cancer. Cure cancer. We thought, first of all, why haven't we heard about this? Why isn't this everywhere? In a time when the world needs hope, why haven't we heard about this? We also happen to have 5 or 6 people on our staff that are battling cancer. So we got it on radar. We are looking for answers. Tanya and I know John Huntsman Sr. quite well. He's a dear, dear friend. He's the guy, you can thank John Huntsman Sr. for styrofoam, unless you're an environmentalist. Somebody else did it. And the plastic fork and spoon. And this guy is the guy, I went to his office one day, and he had gold albums, gold records on his wall. And I said, what are they? They're made out to you. What do you have gold records for? And he said, oh, I needed some money to be able to work on the little what became the McDonald's styrofoam. And he said, I needed a fund to make those molds. And he said, I didn't have the money. He said, so I thought, why don't I just put a collection of good Christmas songs together and sell them on TV with one? That was him. The K-Tel record stuff was him. And he did it just to raise money for his idea that he really wanted to do. That's an entrepreneur. That's an American.
Yes.
That's what we do for a living. Capitalism is not bad.
Nope.
Greed is bad.
Yep.
Capitalism is only what you make of it. And if we restore the love inside, if we restore our honor and our integrity, and we start doing the right thing, not just for you or your bank account, but for everybody else too. When you create a good product and you treat your people well, they work harder, the customers are happy, the world is good. It's good. You know that. That's why you're here. One more quick story. The crazy ones are always called crazy. But the crazy ones are the ones who usually change the world. I challenge you to be crazy.
Woo!
I'm telling my kids all the time, kids, let them rip. Dad, my professor thinks you're crazy. Great! You must be right. Don't be afraid of anyone calling you crazy. Anybody know how that device was invented, television? Guy was 14 years old. 14 years old. He's in his science class. And they're talking about sound waves. And the teacher says, anybody tell me, can you do that with pictures? Everybody said no. Well, here's a kid who left school, high school, had to go plow his father's field in Idaho. He's on the tractor, he's plowing the field, he comes around the corner, and as he's coming around the corner, he sees lines. And by the time he gets down to the other end of the field, he thought, wait a minute, if you broke a picture up into lines, and then you transmitted that picture in dots and lines, I bet you could. His name was Farnsworth. Philo Farnsworth. As it turns out, the big building down there, RCA, well, I mean, it didn't end well. He invented TV, but RCA crushed his soul and stole his idea. But he was right. He was right. I don't know if another guy who just had an idea and said, this can't be. This is someday, anybody who read Carl Sagan's book, his last book before he died, the few chapters on cancer. And he said, I didn't really understand the poison that they were putting into me. But it's barbaric. It's someday, and hopefully very soon, it will be remembered as drilling holes in your head to relieve the headaches or the spirits or whatever. George Washington was killed by a bloodletting. Doctor came to him and said, hey, you know what we should do? He's dying. We should try this. There's this new theory, this new thing, because he can't breathe. What we do is we punch a hole right here. And the doctor looked at him and said, you are a barbarian man. He needs to be bloodlet some more. And they actually drained too much and he died. Somebody is thinking of the new technology. Somebody is thinking of, and I have to tell you, I just asked right before I came up, I asked Dr. Curley, I said, how realistic is this? I will let him explain how realistic this is. This is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And I ask that if you think there's a chance and you happen to have some extra money to help fund this, please do. If you don't, please tell 10 friends, because when you see this and when you see the stats, this is the edge of changing everything in our world. From MD Anderson in Texas, Dr. Curley.